So, I've been gone for a while. Like, a long while. That last upload was 8 months ago. I have no excuse for that. Mainly my absence on YouTube and sporadic uploads is due to boring adult stuff. Not that anyone cares though. But yeah, I'll try to do better, even if it's just for myself. I actually already have all the recordings ready all the way till April, just that I haven't gotten around to editing them all together. In any case, that's enough from the present stressed out ragamuffin, and I'll pass it on to past ragamuffin. God, I want to draw tights again.
やはりビデオを早回しにしすぎたのでは？
Yeah, I realize that I'm zooming in and out way too many times that the video ends up becoming nauseating to watch in time-lapse form. I mean, I could slow the video down, but that'd mean editing things again and exporting the file for an ungodly amount of time. So yeah, without much choice in the matter, I think I'll still upload the rest of the time-lapse videos only at a slower speed than those I've already uploaded. Then I'll just partition them as needed if they get too long, I guess.
もしよろしければ解決策を考えているのですが、
Really? Let's hear it.
OBS を使って描画プロセスを記録することはできる。そしてそれとともにプログラムの Sprite タイムラプスエクステンションのレコールを活用してみてください。
Oh?
動画のスピードアップによる目まぐるしさを防ぐために、エクステンションで録画したタイムラプスをプロジェクトのキャンバス上に配置することができる。
Oh.
オプションとして実際のプロセスを小さなウィンドウに配置することもできます。
Oh.
そこからはタイムラプスのスピードと OBS が記録した映像が一致するように調整すればいいだけだ。これはラガマフィンさんなら実現できると思います。そうすれば自分も視聴者も吐き気を催すことなく描画過程を見せることができる。
Oh. That's a great idea, my ever-bright alchemic assistant.
しかし、
There's a catch?
そうです。残念ながら完成した戦はるかプロジェクトでは、その作画過程でタイムラプスの拡張機能を利用しなかったため、これはもうできない。
No way.
だから、今は現在のプロジェクトの説明版に集中することを提案してもいいでしょうか。完成すれば、この解決策を将来のプロジェクトに応用できる。大丈夫ですよ、ラガマフィンさん。
You're right, Montblanc. I can't feel dispirited just because of this minor setback. So let's just keep going.
その息だ。さあ、いつものように食べて楽しんで。
Yeah.
それでは、ラガマフィンさん、ゆっくりお休みください。
What do you... my head. Montblanc, what was in that tea? What? Who are you? Thank you. Where in the crawlers am I? Start the video. Start off. To start this video off, I'd like to introduce the major steps I take in drawing clothes, of which there are 5 as shown on the screen. The first one being the most crucial part of the process, research. Research is the first step in drawing any character's outfit, be it a character drawn from reference or an original character. Well, at least for me it is. Before I begin, I gather as many references as possible, close-ups, full body shots, and images from different angles. I use a software called PureRef to organize these reference images all in one place, but there are other alternatives such as Miro or Medibang.
しかし、ラガマフィンさん、参考資料を整理するときにも、スプライトを使うのは良いアイデアではないでしょうか。
I mean, You could also use a sprite somewhat, but then you have to expand the canvas size, place the images in different layers in that one area of the canvas, and make use of the preview window, toggling the visibility of the necessary references as needed. You can also use a sprite's multi-window function, with one window hosting all the reference images while you work on the other window.
わかりました。要するに、エスプライトをリファレンスボードとして使用するには、多少の工夫が必要で、外部ソフトを使った方が時間の節約になるということですね。
Exactly. What these differently angled images do is that they give me a better understanding of the structure and details of the clothing, helping me draw it more accurately from the angle that I want. Now, you may be wondering, do you need this many references for drawing the outfit? To which my answer would be no. No, I don't. But does that stop me from appreciating all the wonderful artworks of these talented artists? No, it doesn't. Matter of fact, I really only needed Haruka's official artwork and in-game model and the cosplay design of the outfit. The official artwork helps me with accurately drawing each part of the outfit, while the in-game model helps me with scaling down these details when drawing for a chibi model. Now, if you're looking to draw a character's outfit, I recommend trying to study its cosplay iteration, as this provides a clear breakdown of the various articles that make up the design. As you can see, for Haruka's default outfit, she wears something akin to a tactical or public service boots that goes halfway up her leg. For her skirt, she appears to be wearing a knife-pleated skirt. Moving up, Haruka's also wearing a red sleeved uniform under her blazer to complement the violet hue the rest of her outfit has. Now, her blazer is quite unique in that the sleeves are puffed up at the shoulders, giving it a unique, almost vintage feel that makes it stand out. Then there's a purple cross on her collar, small but significant accessory that adds personality without overwhelming the outfit. A belt cinches at her waist, holding in place her bag, which has that dreadfully adorable button-eye rabbit attached to it. The next step isn't really a step, but more of a consideration as to how one approaches drawing a character's outfit. Artists approach drawing clothing in different ways, and I'm no exception to that. For me, I find it easier to start from the footwear going up to the hair accessories and such. Reason being is that back in my early days of pixel art, I struggled with anatomy and spent a lot of time drawing foot and leg wears. Over time, this became second nature, and now it's my go-to approach.
Objection.
What is this about?
ラガマフィンさん、単に太ももやタイツを描くのが好きだからじゃないんですか？
No.
しかし、これは奇妙ですね。私は顔が見えないまま、太ももと脚だけが描かれていたことを覚えています。あなたの弁明はどうですか、ラガマフィンさん？
That was only because I couldn't draw faces back then.
なるほど。じゃあ太ももやタイツが好きだということは否定しないんですね。
Hold it! Your Honor, this cross-examination is reaching the bounds of mere assumption without material proof. Ha! So you don't have any proof at all, my not-so-ever-bright alchemic assistant.
そのようなことは言っていません。おでき証拠はありませんが、別の形の証拠を持っています。
You're bluffing.
裁判官、証拠品1、特に3ページ以降をご覧いただけますか？そこには被告の閲覧履歴が含まれています。了承しました。このセクションを声に出して読んでください。
No.
はい、裁判官。
Now we're in the actual drawing phase. As mentioned, I started this by drawing the boots first, moving then to the skirt, uniform, and blazer. This is where the third major step comes into play, which is the drafts. I love using drafts to get my ideas down quickly, mainly because these initial sketches allow me to experiment with proportions, clothing placement, and even the overall vibe of the character. And of course, I don't worry too much about the details at this stage. I just want to capture the essence of the design, especially since I tend to be forgetful at times. Drafting is like setting the foundation for the rest of the drawing process. It helps me visualize the character's outfit without getting bogged down by the little things too early into the drawing phase. After selecting the best draft, or just going for the first one, it's time for the base outline and color. This is the part where I fix the shapes and curves of the outfit, ensuring everything looks polished, to a degree. Like I mentioned before, I drew one article of the outfit to another, making sure to complete each one as I went. This means that there's actually an interplay between the last two major steps of this process. Let's start with Haruka's boots. So, like I mentioned, her boots resemble those that are used in the military or public service, with small modifications as the pair has long purple laces and slightly oversized tongues that spill out to the front. Now, fortunately for this drawing, I didn't have to go into too much detail considering the base model's pose. I did, however, have to get the perspective right. The way I approach these steps is through trial and error, basically. After polishing the drafts, I fill in the inner part of the outlines with a flat color to see whether the overall shape turned out fine. If it didn't, or if I found anything off, I adjust the outlines accordingly and repeat the process until my brain is satisfied. Now, it used to be, I would have done the shading for this part of the outfit already. But somewhere along the line, I realized that doing that, I mean shading each article of the outfit as I go, is mainly the reason why it takes me a month to finish a single project. Well, that and there's my day job. But yeah, from my recent projects up until now, I just finished the entire outfit, heck, the entire drawing even, then shade them as a whole. But putting that aside for now, the boots are finished. Now we can move to the next part, the skirt. I don't know why I say it like that. To draw Haruka's skirt, I started drawing a guide, thinking about it as though the skirt's fabric was laid out. This guide tells me how to draw the pleats of the skirt. Now, these knife pleats are simple enough to draw, but drawing them and the skirt while considering the pose of the model is a challenge in and of itself. Now here, you can see me attempting several versions of the skirt. Considering the way the model was kneeling, I wanted to make the skirt curve from one thigh to another and then show it wrapping around to the back, all the while considering how the pleats would be reshaped in the process. The way I approach this is by thinking about it in 3D.
でも、ラガマフィンさん、3D 空間で考えるとはどういう意味ですか？
Good question, Montblanc. The concept of thinking in 3D space means imagining and creating objects or scenes with depth, volume, and form, rather than just flat shapes. It's about visualizing how things look from different angles, considering how light and shadow affect them, and understanding how objects occupy space. For example, when making a simple sphere, instead of just drawing a circle, you think about how the ball has a rounded surface that can be lit in different ways, casting shadows and creating highlights. This gives the ball its realistic 3D appearance. But if you're like me who prefers putting off shading and highlighting for later, then making usage of simple guidelines helps out in imagining things in 3D space. Once I was happy with how the skirt looked, I filled in the outlines with the base color and moved on to the next part of the outfit, the uniform. Now this section isn't really needed and I honestly could have jumped straight to drawing the blazer, but I figured since I'm already drawing every detail of Haruka's outfit, I might as well draw the uniform. Which, by the way, only the hems of the sleeves are shown by the time the blazer is finished. And even then, the uniform is barely even showing. Actually, for both the uniform and the blazer, I followed the 3-step process I discussed, which at this point can be considered a cycle as I repeat them multiple times for each part until they're finished. For both the uniform and the blazer, and clothing in general, I consider things such as fabric type, how it folds, wrinkles, and drapes, and the body shape it's covering, how it fits and moves with the body. There's also consideration for the overall design, but I try to keep things minimal most of the time when drawing chibi models. At this stage, I'm not concerned with shading or highlights. While these two do bring depth and texture to the outfit, for now, it's important to focus on the basic color palette more. The goal here is simply to fill in the major color blocks to set the foundation for future ragamuffin later on in the drawing process.
ただ先延ばしにしているだけではないですか？
No, this is self-care, self-care. Oh, hey, would you look at that? We finished Haruka's default outfit.
お疲れ様です。今日のビデオログの簡単な要約をお願いしてもよろしいですか？ラガマフィンさん。
Alright, to sum up, from research to the final base colors, every step in this process builds on the last. The key here is patience and not rushing the important steps. Research, drafting, refining the outlines, and applying the base colors. With all these elements combined, the outfit begins to come to life. Remember, every artist has their own unique approach to things. What works for one person may not necessarily work for another. And that's the beauty of creativity. It's all about finding what feels right for you. The processes I've shared here are ones I've developed over time and have gotten comfortable with, but they're all still part of my journey as a pixel artist. So, take your time, experiment, and don't be afraid to explore new techniques. Most importantly, always remember to have fun. But that's it for me this time. I hope you have a good day or night. Thanks for watching.